What's going on, guys? Waleed from Mile High Custom Centennial here, and we're going to be taking you guys on a quick shop tour and showing you guys all the vehicles that we have in the shop right now. Today is Saturday, and we did deliver a whole bunch of cars yesterday. However, we have a ton of cool projects in the shop that I'm going to quickly run through and give you guys a quick overview. The first vehicle in the shop that I want to show you guys is a Chevy Nova SS, and this is actually a Yenko. If you know, you know. I personally don't know too much about these classic cars. However, if this is an original Yenko, this vehicle is worth a lot of money. This vehicle, we did a little bit of maintenance work. The customer bought it from an older gentleman actually when he was buying a house, and the vehicle does have a little bit of a fuel issue. The car keeps turning off, so we are actually going to be fixing that fuel issue. This isn't something that we normally do. However, this is for a really good client of ours, so we are going to be doing this for him. I'll show you guys a little bit of the inside. It is an automatic. However, this vehicle, I did get to drive it even with that fuel issue. Super fun car to drive, and it is super beautiful as well. It gets a ton of looks on the road. Obviously, this vehicle is in pristine condition. I'll show you guys a little bit of the front end and from the side. I'm not exactly too sure what year this is. I want to say it's between a 1968 and a 1970, if I remember properly. But this is a really nice vehicle that we're going to have in the shop for the next couple days. Moving on to the next one. This is a Mercedes G Wagon. I'm not exactly sure which Magno color this is. It is a factory matte finish, so we are going to be protecting it with full body Lumar matte paint protection film. This vehicle, we did also tint the windows, and we are also going to be ceramic coating it. It does have that two-tone with the matte black and this kind of greenish brown color. We do have a couple G Wagons in the shop as well. This is a Mercedes G580. This is the EV. This original color is gloss black. However, we are matting it out. So I'll show you guys this real quick. So the door jambs, obviously they're matte. This is factory finish. If you guys can see that edge right there, I'll zoom out a little bit. That's where we go up with the paint protection film. So this is a factory matte finish Lamborghini STO. I won't talk too much about that. That's a little bit of a surprise. But come over here to this door. That is gloss black, obviously with the Lumar matte paint protection film. It mats it all out. So this is the G580 EV, and that is the G63 V8 bi-turbo. Fully gas vehicle. This is an electric vehicle. One of the things that we do a lot here is matte paint protection film, as you guys can tell. Matte paint protection film, matte paint protection film. The STO has matte paint protection film. And this vehicle also, this is a Chevy Silverado. This is also getting matte paint protection film. So one thing about this is not a factory color. Easiest way to tell is open up the door jamb. Obviously that's all gloss black. One thing that makes us different than a lot of other shops in Colorado is the amount of disassembly that we do. We take out door handles, door panels to get to the mirrors. We also take off window trim. That way, the window trim probably sits up until about right here or so. If we were to leave the door panel on, there's a ton of dirt that collects right here. As you guys can see, that is all dirt. Same thing underneath these door gaskets or these trim pieces. So once we get to take those off, we get to extend the pattern. That way, once the trim sits back on, you really can't see the edge of it, and you get a cleaner installation. So door handles, mirrors, door trim. We did also some disassembly over here on the taillights, just so that way we can get full coverage. If you guys see, the taillights are actually also smoked out in a smoke paint protection film. This paint protection film is made by S-Tech. So they do make a smoke paint protection film and then a smoke vinyl. The vinyl typically lasts in Colorado anywhere from 2 to 5 years. This paint protection film has a 10-year warranty. So the fit and finish is super nice. You can see a little bit of glue lines. I don't know how well you can see that on camera. Obviously anything that has adhesive and you're stretching it around a complex panel like that, there is also always a possibility of glue lines. It's just something that's avoidable. This is actually seamed right along this body line. just because, you know, doing this piece and this curve all in one piece, one, you're going to get a lot of glue lines in this area, and two, there is a potential to fail right here as well as right there. But that is Steck's PPF. This is the Storm Shade, which is kind of like their medium smoke. And then we are also going to be smoking out the headlights. These aren't smoked out yet, but we are also going to be smoking out the headlights. On this vehicle, the headlights are smoked out, so that'll kind of give you a little bit of an idea of how this Chevy Tahoe, or Chevy Silverado, I'm sorry, is going to look once it's all complete. This is a Ford Raptor. This is the 37 edition. We are going to be doing some paint protection film on the full front end. So that's the full hood, the full fenders, covers this front bumper, the headlights, as well as the back of the mirrors. That is pretty much the high impact area. One nice thing about the full front end is a lot of times people will do just partial. So it'll come out to say about right there or so. You'll see this line right here. And over time, dirt's gonna build up on that line. So by doing the full hood and the full fender, it's basically invisible. You don't see the edge. We tuck all of our edges. You know, one thing on this that we take pride in is that we tuck all of these edges. So there's no exposed edge right here. This is tucked until right there. And we also tuck this side right over here. So we really take pride on our installations, making sure that we tuck all of our edges, making sure we get as perfect of an installation as possible, and it looks as factory as possible, meaning no one's gonna be able to tell just by looking at it. They're gonna think that the vehicle came like that from the factory, that it came with that matte finish. So like I said, we do a lot of paint protection film at the shop. As you guys can see, majority of the cars in here right now are paint protection film, are full bodies. We do have a couple color change. You know, obviously one thing that a lot of the other services that we do at Mile High Customs is window tint, ceramic coating, wheels, tires, suspension, stuff like that. But a lot of the other services such as like window tint and ceramic coating, those are quick, couple hour jobs. The ceramic coating is about a day job. So a lot of the bigger projects that we have in here that are full transformations are either usually vinyl wraps, colored paint protection film, which is what's on this vehicle and a couple other vehicles that I'm still going to walk you guys through, or the full body paint protection film, specifically matte. We do a little bit of gloss paint protection film, full bodies, but you know, obviously with that matte, you get the best of both worlds. You get the protection and you get the change of look on the vehicle. So, you know, it's gonna matte it out. It's gonna be a little bit different. So people can justify the cost a little bit more because they are getting that change in look as well as the protection. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more cars that I'm gonna quickly walk through. And yeah. This is an Audi RSQ8. This vehicle, like I said, is colored paint protection film. The original vehicle, original color of the vehicle, I believe is black. So you can see the door jambs, all of those are not gonna be getting wrapped. But like I said, we took all of the edges. So the paint protection film is tucked up until right there. That way, once all of the doors are closed, you can't see any of the original color showing. This, I forgot the exact name of this color, but it's kind of like this satin, kind of like satin gunmetal gray. One other thing that is a little bit different that we did on this vehicle, so there's a lot of carbon fiber on this. So this carbon fiber, we did protect it with gloss paint protection film. However, from the factory on these RSQ8s, those come matte. One thing that we wanted to do was kind of make the carbon fiber pop a little bit more. So by putting the gloss paint protection film, obviously it's going to matte it out, and it has a nice contrast against this satin finish. Like I mentioned earlier, we did smoke out the headlights. That is a smoke paint protection film. That is the S-Tech Shadow. The Shadow is the lighter one. The Storm is the darker one. And come over here, we also got the taillight smoked out. These taillights are out just so that way we can get full color or full coverage with the paint protection film, the colored PPF. That way you don't see any of the original color showing and it basically looks like a factory finish. Same thing down on this diffuser. We did the gloss paint protection film right along there. This vehicle, we are also going to be adding some spacers just to give it a little bit more of an aggressive fitment. These wheels are really nice from the factory, so we're not going to be getting some new wheels. But yeah, we got the door handles disassembled, window trim, the mirrors, all that good stuff. Moving on to the next vehicle. This one we did a while ago. This is matte paint protection film. This is an M340i. This customer actually sold this vehicle, liked it so much he actually bought it back. So I'll quickly skip over that. This is a GMC Denali Ultimate. I'm going to be doing a separate video walkthrough on this, so I'm not really going to touch up on this, but this is a really nice full transformation that we did: wrap, wheels, tires, tint, chrome delete. But I'll get into this one. We also got a Mustang, and then in the back we have a Dodge Magnum that's going to be getting a full transformation. But on this vehicle also belongs to an athlete. We have a couple of vehicles in the shop that belong to Broncos players. Probably 4 or 5 of the cars in here belong to football players. This is one of them. That Mustang's the other. This Audi and that vehicle all belong to football players. This vehicle is going to be getting a full color transformation. We're going to we're a little bit undecided. We might be powder coating the calipers. Right now they're just gray. We might be powder coating those in a red. We also might be doing a Starlight interior. We're going to be smoking out the headlights. We're going to be smoking out the taillights. We might be getting some wheels, and this is going to be complete full transformation. So stay tuned for this one. We're going to be starting it on Monday, and it'll probably take about a week or so. Moving on to the next vehicle, this is a Ford Mustang. This vehicle was originally wrapped in a matte black with some red stripes. However, we're going to be removing the wrap. We probably have about 90% of it all removed. The original color is red. Whoever installed these exhausts installed them wrong. So you can see that exhaust system, or those tips. So the short one is on the inside and the long one is on the inside. It's supposed to be reversed. So this exhaust tip is supposed to be on that side, and that side's supposed to be on this side. The rear diffuser is also finessed right here, so we are going to be replacing that, or we are going to be fixing that. But yeah, we got all the vinyl removed on this. Original color is kind of like this ruby red. Pretty nice. Not a color you typically see on a Mustang. And then last but not least, this is a Dodge Magnum. Back in the day, this was a very desirable car. It still is, but to find one in good condition is very hard. As you guys can see, we are replacing the fender. We are replacing the headlights. The fender and the bumper are over here. There's a little bit of damage on that front fender right there, so we are going to be replacing it. These fog lights are super foggy, and the vehicle, if you can see over there, it did have a little bit of paint damage, so we did sand all of those areas down smooth, and then we're going to be wrapping it. This isn't a satin black. This is actually, I forgot the exact name of this, but this is kind of like a satin, kind of like dark gray, kind of like a satin basalt. So this vehicle gonna get full transformation, gonna look completely different once we're all done with it. Let's take a look at some of that body damage. This vehicle is gonna look completely different once we're all done. So definitely stay tuned. I'll probably try and make a walk around video of this one as well once we're all done. But yeah, that's pretty much all the cars that we have in the shop right now. It is summertime, so we're extremely busy. We're probably pushing out probably about 5 of these big projects a week, plus all the other extracurricular stuff that we do throughout the week, like the window tint, the paint protection film, wheels, tires. I want to do one of these walkarounds probably about once a week or so, every time we get kind of like a new batch of cars in the shop, just to show you guys. And then on some of the more full-on transformations, I'll do an individual video on those, such as this truck. This one's going to be getting its own video, probably that Audi and that Mercedes as well, and the Dodge Magnum once that's all complete. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little walk around. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and we'll see you guys next time.